What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. And in this video, we're going to go over new details about the second stimulus check negotiations. But first, if you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button down below. This way you won't miss out on second stimulus check updates. My wife and I do hours of research for you guys every single day so we can bring you the current up-to-date stimulus check, unemployment extension, and related news in a quick, timely manner. And don't forget to smash the like button for us down below. Leader of the Senate Republicans, Mitch McConnell, is slamming the Democrats, telling them to actually help the American people. He says here, the virus does not care about the election. Struggling Americans need our help now, and that can only happen if Washington Democrats stop playing games and actually help the American people. It's funny that Mitch McConnell is the one saying this because just a few weeks, people in his own state were protesting outside of his office saying, Mitch better have my money. And that's Mitch with an M, not a B. This was as he was weighing cutting the extra unemployment weekly boost from $600 per week down to $100 per week. And that just goes to show you how quickly these politicians can change their mind, and oftentimes to the positive. Since then, the president passed a presidential executive order. The president's a Republican, Mitch McConnell's a Republican. They're the two highest Republicans, in the Senate and the White House. And the president passed a presidential executive order for $300 to $400 per week unemployment. It's $300 for states that don't want to do the extra $100 per week that the states pitch in. Some states are doing $400 per week. So the Republicans went from $100 per week, and actually before that they didn't want to do any extra per week. They didn't want to do any extra unemployment extension. Mitch McConnell was saying $100 per week, and people were protesting outside of his office. Then they quickly went from $100 to $300 to $400 per week. And that's why both these negotiations and also the negative criticism that they get from the public and from the media about not passing another stimulus check or not passing unemployment fast enough, all this stuff gets to them. And with the election about 60 days away, they're starting to feel the pressure that they're going to need to negotiate faster and raise the amount. Remember, the Republicans already went from $100 a week to $300, $400 per week, and they're feeling pressure about that and also stimulus checks to be sent out directly to Americans. So all this is good because the pressure keeps mounting on them, and the president is the one feeling the pressure the most because obviously he only needs to get reelected one more time. So it's basically the Republicans' biggest deal right now is to get the president reelected. And passing another stimulus check is going to make millions and millions of Americans happy right before the election if they can do that or do it through a presidential executive order. Top Democrat and leader of the House, Nancy Pelosi, or as she's quickly being known as Negative Nancy, is also feeling the pressure, but from her own party. Democrats are wanting Nancy Pelosi to come to an agreement, and we've actually had in recent days the Democrats are actually going above Nancy Pelosi's head and talking to Republican negotiator Mark Meadows, White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and they're actually talking with Mark Meadows behind Nancy's back to help the Democrats and the Republicans come to an agreement on negotiations for a stimulus check and an unemployment extension. As you can see here, as the outcry for a second stimulus check builds to a fever pitch, some Democrats are reportedly pressuring House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to compromise with Republicans in the U.S. Senate. Pelosi and other Democratic leaders have stood firm on critical issues in the new stimulus package, particularly the $600 unemployment enhancement. The Democrats basically wanted the full $600 unemployment enhancement and thought they were going to get it, and they didn't get it, and that's when the president stepped in and passed a presidential executive order to extend the enhanced unemployment benefits at $300 to $400 per week. However, as the stalemate drags on, some Democrats are ready to let demands go just to pass something. Nancy Pelosi reportedly refused a recent skinny bill from the Republicans, while also refusing to consider any unemployment enhancement that was less than $600 in an upcoming bill. Later, she declined yet another offer for a smaller incremental stimulus bill, which would have included $1,200 stimulus checks. For the most part, Democrats have presented a united front through these debates, but that changed last week when Representative Sidney Axe of Iowa published a letter to Pelosi asking for a compromise. It begged her to bring up a simplified, straightforward virus relief package. Constituents and millions of others are relying on us to reach a deal that can deliver much needed aid to those still under the threat from this pandemic. All this pressure is good because not only do we have elections coming up right away, and whenever these politicians get a lot of negative pressure on them, they get real nervous, especially with an election coming up in less than 60 days or around 60 days. So keep the pressure on these guys, keep tweeting them on social media, on Twitter. Keep writing them, keep letting them know your concerns. Let's get this passed. I think that there's going to be a big push to get more stimulus passed in the next few weeks before the election. And I think a lot of these guys that are the negative Nancy's or they're against passing more stimulus for the people, I think that there's a very high likelihood that a lot of them are going to be voted out this election. So remember, use your votes wisely, and all these negative Nancy's that don't want stimulus, let's get them out, and this way we can possibly get even more stimulus in the future if this pandemic continues, which it doesn't look like it's going away in the next few weeks. The Fed also had their meeting today, and they formally announced a new approach to balance inflation, which basically means that we're going to see continued interest rates at a lower rate. Lower interest rates are a good thing for American people because it means you can get a lower interest rate on your home, lower interest rates on your credit card, lower interest rate on cars, and all that stuff is really good. It helps keep more money in your pocket and less interest going out to banks. I also seen a very interesting article I wanted to show you guys, and it's cool to be able to see these advances in fighting the virus. American Airlines will be the first airline to use a coating said to kill the virus for up to 7 days. American Airlines will be the first airline to deploy a disinfectant surface coating that kills the virus for up to 7 days, the EPA announced on Monday. The agency lifted a restriction in Texas allowing the state to let American Airlines airport facilities and planes at specific locations to use Surface Wise 2, which creates an invisible layer that kills pathogens within 2 hours, according to the manufacturer, Allied Bioscience. They'll be applying these to high-touch surfaces such as seats, tray tables, and overhead bin doors, and the protection lasts up to a week. The airline said the product will be used in conjunction with routine cleaning. It'll be interesting to see the results of this if it provides positive results because we might be able to use it in other areas such as maybe stores, railings, escalators, elevators. So it will be interesting to see if this proves to be a good protection against the virus. My wife says that we should spray it all over our bodies when we leave the house, and it'll form a protective barrier on our bodies against the virus, and then we'll have no chance of getting it. So I don't know. My wife does all of our editing, so we'll see if this makes it into the final video or if she cuts it out with a snip of a mouse click. But I thought that was totally funny. And don't forget to click the subscribe button down below if you haven't yet. We're almost at 200,000 subscribers. My wife's going to come on camera with me when we do hit 200,000 at the end of one of our videos to show our appreciation for you guys. And don't forget to smash the like button for us down below if you haven't yet. You can click on this top video to watch my most recent stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start a business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have students that have replaced their entire 9-to-5 income, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, and I will see you in the next video.